Melissa Jakes, the Olivia Pope of virtual and live events, is the CEO and founder of Rescue Event Planning, a Washington, D.C.-based boutique event planning firm to influencers, organizations, and corporations. During this pandemic, Melissa's expertise in online event planning has become a hot commodity. Her company also provides several courses on topics related to event planning and entrepreneurship. She gives mommypreneurs the tools and services to balance career, business ownership, and management with family. Melissa has spoken at several events such as Facebook Boost and conducted workshops at universities and small businesses. She has been featured in several publications such as Event Planner Association Podcast, Rent My Wedding Magazine, Morgan State University, iHeartRadio, CEO Blog Nation, BET Influencer, and Event Planner Expo 2020. She provides entrepreneurs with special tools to combat what she calls FWD, fear, worry, and doubt obstacles, in order to break through and become successful owners. Mommypreneurs, let's welcome Melissa Jakes.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Mommypreneurs, I hope you guys are having an amazing, amazing Wednesday. It has been a busy one for me, but I hope you guys are out there thriving, doing it. We're coming to the end of the month and talking about monthly goals, making sure we're reaching our monthly goals, whether it's financial, it's with the family, it is personal. Make sure you are getting your goals, #goals, okay? So make sure you are reaching that, you guys. I'm super excited for you guys to join us tonight. We are going to be talking about getting to the niche of it, getting down to the niche of it. What is the niche? It's basically narrowing down exactly what your focus of business is going to be. And we're going to be talking with an amazing person, a soror of mine, and we're super excited to have her. But before we get into the minutia and the niche of it, we got to make sure we pay some bills. So as you guys know, every Monday, we make sure we light a candle for our Power Moves Monday. Power Moves Monday candle by Noor by Nure, Black-owned candle company that not only now has candles, but also has other decor items as well. And so we want to make sure that you are getting your power moves. Every Monday, I light this candle. It really shifts the energy. It gets the week started. We are making sure that we're not only hitting our goals and our target, but just really centering ourselves for the week, right? And so Moves candle, you can own this too and get the power moves with me as well. If you use the code Melissa Jakes in your checkout, then you'll be able to save money on your purchase. Don't just get one, get two, okay? Because candles go fast. I love to burn. So make sure you definitely get that. And let's change it, because definitely one thing that has really changed for me is when I really have focus, shifting the energy, setting the mood, for those who work from home, or maybe you have a little office space or you're renting a space, however you're doing it now in COVID, right? It's hard to shift the energy from mommy mode to business mode. So definitely making sure you have a candle like that to shift it. Scents, smells, we all know those 5 senses can all be a shift that type of energy in you. When you listen to music, you might get a little hype, you might get relaxed, all that stuff. So it's all about processing and making sure your energy is right in the space. If you're watching for the first time, I want you to put in the chat #first timer, and you won't be the last time watching live, right? So we come here every Wednesday where we talk about business, mommyhood, being, if you're a wife, if you have a spouse, if you're single, we cover all of that. But most importantly, we make sure that our mommy entrepreneurs in business are having the resources in the community to thrive in business, especially during COVID and especially in a time where you might be doing virtual learning. Some of you guys are like in the state of Maryland, we are now shifting to a hybrid option, and you have the option to be in, you have the option to be out. What did you choose? I want to know. We chose to go virtual, but my husband is a teacher, so he has to do the hybrid option. And so we want to know what you guys are doing and how's it going to impact your flow that you've kind of have built for a year in COVID, right? And now you're flipping out into a new schedule, how you get everything together if you decided to go back and what that looks like. So I am going to introduce our guest. I am super excited because, especially when you're soror, it's definitely different. So our guest, Patrice, I'm going to jack this up. I'm going to try to get it right. Patrice Cameau is an owner of CAMPspace, and it is registered, not trademarked, but registered. It is a content creator studio for women of color that provides beautiful spaces, accessible resources, educational content, and a strong community to help men make the best creator possible. The content creator in her own right, Patrice hosts bi-weekly Shades of Content podcasts that works to share the stories of her peers. Patrice is a communication and marketing expert with 15 plus years of expertise evaluating and hosting different sports, nonprofit, entertainment, and lifestyle entities. Having managing and doing PR and marketing campaigns for Super Bowl championships, entertainers and athletes, the veterans of foreign affairs, which I've seen a lot of her work on that, the Covenant House International, Gangster Vegan Organics, and Grammy nominated our own in the DMV, Wale. She is passionate about strategically telling her clients and their fantastic stories. Patrice also has her BA in communication, which emphasizes in public relations from the University of Maryland College Park in 2005. And she has her master's of art degree in public communication from American University in DC in 2010. When she's not running her space or work with her clients, she spends her time with her 3 developed Army reserve husband, and her 3 beautiful children. Ladies and gentlemen, or ladies, please welcome Patrice. Hey!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm excited.
Yes. And I'm excited about the topic as well, getting to the niche of it, and really funneling down. So I know I gave a good brief of your bio and all of that, but talk to us about being mommy, being wifey, being entrepreneur.
Oh, Lord. I mean, I don't know where to start. I think that none of those titles are separate. They all work together. I feel like I'm able to take care of my kids. I've tried to take care of my husband, and we work together, and we're building a business together.
Yes.
These things all, it's a part of my story, and I don't think any part of it would be as whole without the other part.
Absolutely. I can totally understand that. So what inspired you? You have your master's in communications with PR, and the same thing with your bachelor's. What inspired you to go from being with Wale, some entertainers, Super Bowl stuff, to having a creator content space?
Yes. So, I had spent, at this time, it was about 10 years working as a PR marketing communications professional for, as you mentioned, different entertainers, nonprofits. But in doing that, I realized that my clients never had a place to work. And I realized that I also didn't have a place to work. So I live in Prince George's County, which is right outside of Washington, D.C. Anytime I wanted to host an event for my clients or work remotely or have a meeting, I would have to go into DC. And if you live in the county, then you know that going into the city can be quite a task. You have traffic, you have parking, you have just a lot of things that I didn't want to deal with. So, you know, there were some personal things that happened, and then this light bulb just went off, and I said, I'm going to open up a space. I'm going to open up a co-work space. That's really how the ball started, how it started rolling. I was able to, it took about 2 years to build a community, find a space, put all the money together. But we finally opened in March of 2018. About a year and a half in, I realized that the majority of my customers were Black women, women of color like myself, who would book the space on the weekends and evenings to do their photo shoots, to do their video, to create their content. And that revenue from that was starting to be more than I was making from a co-work member. So, you know, I just had to make a decision, and I decided to pivot to where we are today. So that's kind of how it all came about.
Yeah. And talking about that pivot and basically being, you understood your target audience. So that's getting into being very specific and developing that niche, which some people have problems with doing in business, right? And so I want you to talk about why is it important? And I have some thoughts to it as well, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, what event do you specialize in? And in my space, there are people who do specialize. I just do weddings. I just do conferences. I just do da-da-da-da. I have not niched down yet, and I have my reasons for it. But I want to hear about why it's important it is for mommypreneurs to really start getting specific and honing down on the area so that they're clear on their target.
Yeah, I think we all, you know, some people get it. Some people have a very specific person and service that they offer, and they never have to kind of worry about wanting to do all the things. That wasn't the case for me. And even before I opened a space as a PR person, I was working with everybody, from military nonprofits to rape and sexual assault organizations to athletes, to entertainers, and it was all over the place. And then fast forward to when I finally opened the space, and I think moms especially, we want to serve everybody, right? I think it's in our nature to want to just give all we have and help everybody, whether we know what they need or not. But when it's all said and done, professionally or personally, that doesn't really serve anybody, right? Because you end up spreading yourself too thin. And so in going through this pivot and laser focusing on my niche, I realized that all the extra work that I was doing to serve everybody went away because I was just focused on this very small group of people who was spending money on me or with me. I think another thing is, because we want to serve everybody, we're assuming everybody needs what we have. And that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
Every business has a target customer, right? Every service has a specific person that will win if they use that, if they contract that person or business.
Right.
So if you're clear on what you offer and who it's perfect for, that person and those people, that community of people is going to rally behind you and buy from you because they know that you are specifically there for them. And then you keep doing it for them and they keep buying it. And it's just this amazing circle. A lot of Camp's customers are shooting in Camp once a month, once a quarter. And that's photographers, that's women content creators, you know, being very specific, very focused. And I think that we have to remember, yes, we are everything. We are all things. Like, we are intrinsically all of that, but we all have something very uniquely special to us.
Yeah.
And I do believe that oftentimes that niche comes from whatever that is within. And I think sometimes people shy away from it, maybe because they don't want to own that uniqueness. You know, when you got to step into your greatness, it's not always easy. So, you know, I definitely challenge everybody watching this. If you're kind of thinking about what that niche is or how you can really hone in, go back to what really brings you the most joy. Go back to the thing that makes you smile the most. A lot of times those things are the things you're scared to do in public. That's exactly what your niche probably should be.
Wow, that's deep. That is deep. Moms, I really hope you're listening and taking notes, writing down. I got my notes. Okay. Um, that's really deep because, as I even reflect every year, you kind of go through that, oh, what's your strategy for the year and all of that stuff. I feel like I've gotten closer and closer to a niche.
Yeah.
Of course, COVID threw everything out the book for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of people started businesses and they think, oh, anyone who walks around on this earth is my client.
Right.
That's hard to do. And even though we haven't narrowed down exactly the style of event, and I'm not sure if I ever will, I have narrowed down the folks who can afford
That's
a certain style of event planning. Because that's a wide range. You can't say you're going to serve someone who has a budget of 6 figures to someone who has a budget of 4 figures.
Right.
That's a big different clientele and different type of level and care for a client as well.
And it goes into also, your marketing. Marketing is so important to business. You cannot successfully market to a bunch of different types of people. Like it's just that's not a marketing campaign, right? That is literally just boom, here you go. We just throw it all out at you, and that's a horrible way to market and to bring customers in.
Right.
Please don't do that. So at the very least, if niching down means that you're able to target who you want to talk to, and sometimes that target, that niche, is not already who you're serving. Sometimes in your mind, you're like you just said, I'm an event planner and I've been used to dealing with these 4-figure clients. I don't think I want to do that anymore. I want to work with this type of client. So now you can then change the narrative and you can craft the marketing to bring in who you want. I think niche is you having a service, but I think it's also you like telling people what you can do. And then, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. That does make sense.
Yeah.
And as people are processing, you have to realize you're going to keep, sometimes people niche down, they start with the whole pie, then they took a part of the pie, and then they got to half, and then they got to the quarter, then they got to their slice.
Right.
And that's exactly where you go in business as you start forming and developing into business. So it definitely is important. I think you got to look to see what makes sense. But really what you said is think about what makes you really happy.
Yeah.
Because we all talk about, girl, I want to be a 6-figure business. Well, you have to think about what makes you happy to stay in it. You have to at least get past year 2. Okay. The blues, what they call it, year 2 blues.
How about this? Year 2 blues, year 3 pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Like life. And I can honestly say, as a co-work space, as a publicist, as a corporate professional, nothing brought me the joy that I get when I see beautiful women of color in the pictures that they take in my space. No lie. Every single time I see content that some creator, some blogger, some YouTuber, some chef created in a space, I'm always like, oh my God, girl, that looks so good. Every single time. It never gets old because honestly, that's a reflection of me. And it's an honor to be able to serve women that look like me. Because also every business owner is not able to do that. And some don't want to, and that's fine.
Yeah.
My business is strictly for people like me. And so to be able to be a part of helping them create whatever it is they're creating is like the best.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I know during COVID and during the pandemic, you received some grant funds, right? Yay! I love free money. So share with us how you even got to this grant, applied, all of that stuff, because there are people out there saying like, oh, I don't know where these grants are coming from. And again, that all of that is, I want to remind moms, is really about who you know. Because who you know and the like-minded people help get money together. Yeah. So, but tell us how that all came about for you.
Sure. Well, I'll give an abbreviated. I'll tell you about it shortly here, but I did do a podcast episode on it. So if you go to our podcast, Shades of Content, it's on Apple, Spotify, Google, any podcast you can find us. We're also on Instagram at Shades of Content. And the title is The Grant Money, How I Got 20,000 plus in free money for my business. So definitely listen to that, watch that. It's very helpful. So when COVID happened, my business was closed for 2.5 months, which means there were no people coming in and booking it to create content. And the bills still had to get paid, the rent needed to get paid, utilities, all those things. And so I was paying attention to the news and what was happening in business. And I was also getting tons of emails. And there were, at this time, even though the country was in despair, there were a lot of nonprofit organizations, corporate organizations that were putting their money where their mouth was, committing to supporting businesses, supporting Black businesses, supporting women-owned businesses, especially during that June, July racial reckoning. So I just capitalized on it. And it wasn't just one grant. I've applied to about 21 grants to include the PPP, the IEDL. I know I'm saying that wrong.
Yeah, EDLI. Yeah.
That one. And while I've applied to about 2021, we only got 9. But that 9, when you put it all together, came up to about 21,000. And that was money I didn't have to really do anything for other than to share how important my business was and how those funds would help me continue to help the creators that we were working with. So, I think you have to really keep your ears to the street. You need to be Googling small business grants, motherhood grants, Googling that every week to see what's out there. I give some tips in the episode, but in the podcast episode, but one thing I 100% suggest is to start a Google Doc. And as you're completing these applications, write the answers down in that Google Doc and save it so that when it's time to do application number 2, number 3, number 4, you already have the meat of what you want to say. And it makes the process a little easier and a little less arduous because it's a process.
It is a process. I was 5 in before I realized I need to be saving the information.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Because I was like, I answered this question, this other application. Oh my God.
Save the info. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, because we're going to be working smarter, not harder in 2021. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think
and also save.
And you don't have to be a nonprofit. I think there's also this misconception that you have to be a nonprofit to take advantage of grants. That is not true. You just need to be a business that has an EIN number. And I would also suggest if you're a solopreneur, you put yourself on payroll because that shows that you are an employee of the business.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And some grants will take the 1099 as well.
Right. Yep.
So it just
took the 1099.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And people are being a little bit more flexible with, do you have subcontractors or whatnot versus employees, whatnot. But you just got to see what the grant says. But that is definitely a good, especially for the solopreneurs, that's definitely a good start to make sure you put yourself on payroll. And you'll be able to really see okay, this is coming into the business. This amount is going to be for bills for the business. Yep. This amount is for contingency. Yep. This amount is for myself. That you're really to be able to financially see the growth of the business.
Yeah.
And it just keeps it nice and pretty and all of that. Absolutely. So that's amazing. I mean, I stopped counting. I don't even know how many I applied to. So, and also the videos, right? So first people weren't asking for videos. But they started asking for videos. And so I definitely tried to, once I realized a lot of people were asking for videos for the grants, I just re-recorded and did try to answer the questions the same, but very generic. So it's not specific to that one. I had to keep re-recording. One grant wanted to see you in your space working. And I was like, well, how am I really going to do that?
Yeah. Huh. It's interesting. They all have these different requirements, but I think, if you are going to commit to this and if you want free money, then you're just going to have to do it. I remember there was one, and it was due an afternoon. I had to drop my son off. I looked a hot mess, and it was like, I have to get this video done. And so I just had to sit in my car. I dropped him off. I sat in my car before I drove home, and I recorded it, had to load it to YouTube. It's private, so nobody else will see it. You have to see it. But it's like, you just have to do it. And I think as moms, we are so used to just doing everything for everybody else. Like, you name it, we're going to do it for our kids. We're going to do it for our husbands. We're going to do it for everybody else. And then we're second and we're last. And you don't, when it's in the moment, you're like, oh, well, but as you wake up the next morning or the next month, and you realize that you didn't do the things that you wanted to do for you because everybody was more important than your own personal goals and dreams. I just don't know if that is how we want to feel, you know? And so I just think we have to really start prioritizing ourselves. We really do.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's easy to get caught up in the business stuff and, or even your business goals that you want to do. Like you said, I think mapping out 1 to 2 week, looking for grants, that is like a part of my normal thing now.
Yep.
And I tag my admin like, hey, make sure I apply for this. And so that's definitely a part of the things that you should do. Hey, Christina, we see you. That's definitely things that you want to make sure you're doing in your business. And also networking. Yeah. You know, we talk about content creation at your space, which I was looking for something for my client, and my admin was like, why didn't we ask Patrice for her space? I don't know. I was so caught up on a lot of spaces weren't going over the 10 people.
Yeah. Right.
You know, for the governor. Yeah. So she was trying to do about 50. I was like,
oh yeah, no. And she shouldn't be trying to do that because we're in a pandemic. Let me stop. Let me stop. I don't know if I get mad at me
now. Right. But definitely that, I think this is the perfect time for business owners and mommies to really utilize your space if you're in the DMV area. If you're not in the DMV area, look for other spaces and even connect with Patrice. She might be able to connect you with the other areas in the land, to the other metro areas, and connect with other people, because this is the time to really build up a whole bunch of content, because we're still kind of in this, you know, closed era before the weather breaks. Like the weather was kind of good in Maryland today. It was like 62. And, you know, I saw people out. I was like, numbers about to spike again. But this is a great time before we all start getting a little trigger happy of leaving and going out, of creating space. So definitely tell people how they can reach you, how they can connect with you.
Yes. Well, we're on all social media pages. The business tag is at CAMPspace with an S on the end. So at CAMPspaces. My personal Instagram and Twitter is at Patrice Cameau, just my first and my last name. And our website is there's a little echo. Our website is campworkspace.com. You can go there. You can click really easily to book your time in the space. And you can also get a lot of anything you want to know about camp, you can find on our website or our Instagram page. We have a really cool YouTube series where we feature women content creators of color who do cool things. We have a plant-based chef. We have bloggers. I mean, just really amazing women. And we feature them, all the shades of content episodes you can watch on our YouTube page. And we just released Black Girl Holidays, which is a 12-month, 365-day calendar filled with over 450 Black woman-related birthdays, milestones, events, you name it, it's in here. And I created this calendar to just be a tool for creators, people that have to do social media posts. You know, if you don't know what you want to talk about, you can open this up and you can see, you know, on October 5th, it is World Teachers Day. So you can plan content around that.
Okay, now what's the link to that? What's the links I can drop in the chat? Because I think you just saved a whole bunch of people's lives.
It is blackgirlholidays.com. And the Instagram for that also is at Black Girl Holidays. And if you go to either my page or Camp page, it all links together. So if you only found one, then you can find the others. And this is available in print or digital. So you can do a digital download, or you can print it out, or you can, order the print version that looks like this. And if you order the print version, the next 20 people that order will get a custom sticker pack that I have to find them. I have them somewhere. But if you order it, you get a custom free sticker pack that has like all these really fun stickers that just show love to women.
Yes, I just put it in the chat. Make sure you do that. I'm going to get my copy now.
Yay!
Because that just makes sense. You let us know about everything on a calendar, and that makes content easier.
For sure. And I think, for me, I've realized through the pandemic that, having a location-based business is great, but you have to have other revenue streams. You cannot only rely on one way that the money comes in. And so I've just been really trying to challenge myself to think of different ways that we can make money, but at the same time, making sure that our commitment to women content creators of color stays at the forefront. And so hopefully there will be more products similar to Black Girl Holidays that highlight all the dope content that we create on a regular basis.
Yes. Amazing. I want to thank you for coming on. This has been great ideas, great things, great motivation to see that where you started and you started a space. I am still in that dream preconception stage. Right before COVID, I've talked to realtors of leasing a space, an event space, because definitely like PG County, it's like event space is nowhere.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find.
It is so dry.
Yeah, it's so hard to find. And I knew that would definitely not only just income, but also that would give people a place to have spaces. But you've done it. And you're surviving a pandemic. So that's definitely inspiring. I definitely know that will inspire some other moms to know you're a mom of 3. You have a 4th child, which is a income. And so that hasn't stopped you. So there's no excuses, ladies, because she got a lot going on.
We got a lot going on. Okay, but we're going to keep it moving, because when all these kids grow up and go off, it's going to be me and my husband. So we got to have things that we enjoy. We have to do things that make us happy, because our kids are also watching us. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that when my son, my 13-year-old, sees me working, sees me interacting with these cool people and creating this cool content, I think he enjoys it, and maybe he might not do what I do, but I hope that the fact that I'm able to kind of make it all work is rubbing off on him, to show him that there are no excuses. Just get it. Get it.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that. It reminds me of when my daughter said she did something. And she's like, oh, okay, I did a service, so I can charge you for this now.
Yes, sis.
You've been listening to my conversations, girl.
Okay, baby girl, know what's up.
So yes, kids are watching. So make sure you are being the best that you can be for your children, and just showing them the way that it's more than just the name brand stuff, the video games. It's about building wealth, about building a lifestyle for your family. So absolutely. Thank you so much, Patrice.
Thank you so much, Melissa. This was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. And hang back tight. I want to talk to you real quick.
Okay.
All right, you guys, this has been amazing. I hope you had an amazing Wednesday with us. The tip is find your way to narrow down. If you're just like, I don't want to go all the way yet, start hitting the pie and slowly getting it down so you can get your slice, because that's the most important thing. We can't serve everyone. There's a certain type. That's why we have expertise. Same thing in college. You go to college, or you go and major in something because you're narrowing down. You're not majoring in everything, which would be very impossible. But, you know, you're narrowing down your focus. So let's start doing that, moms. Let's get into the motivate. Get your holiday calendar, like I'm about to purchase right after I get off. We have it in the comments for YouTube, and we have it for Facebook. So definitely head there and get your code. You can get 10% off as well. So make sure you get that. And this has been great. Come back next week. Again, every Wednesday we are live with someone different, another mom who is killing the game in entrepreneurship, and also just still being a mom and doing that balance. So we'll see you again next week. Bye.